Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So this year 2023 garden is pretty much done. This is going to be my last update of the garden this year. It gave us quite a bit of veggies, not that much fruit. We got some berries and they were good, but it wasn't what we had anticipated. I wanted to do a lot of tomatoes this year. I did big boy tomatoes for fresh eating and paste tomatoes because I was going to try and make ketchup. Well, Mother Nature had different thoughts. So our potato harvest didn't come in as good as we thought it would. And it has in past years. But we went with it, and I'm just going to give you a little overview of what we got and what we still have in the garden to bring in and preserve. So this was the first year I was able to actually grow sunflowers, and I will say they really showed out. These are humongous. I don't know if you could tell from this picture, but they are nearly 10 feet tall, and I was able to preserve some of the seeds for next year. So some of the other flowers that did really well in our garden this year, which is surprising because they took forever to come up, and they really helped with pollinators and bringing in the bees, and they also helped by giving a pretty coloring punch against all the green. They also helped with things like these. These are one of the big boy tomatoes I did actually plant. All of these I didn't plant. These were all volunteers, every single last one of them, but I appreciate them. And herbs out my ears. We are preserving herbs from now until probably Christmas. And as winter creeps closer and closer, I will be bringing inside most of my herbs that I want to try and over winter. So like my rosemary and my parsley and my thyme and that sort of thing, I will be bringing indoors to try and preserve that, and hopefully it will overwinter inside. So I did bring the herbs in. I brought in basil, rosemary, thyme, parsley, oregano, sage, lemon thyme, and marjoram. I will be putting them in my sunny dining room window. I just need to fix the ledge or the shelf to go there so I can sit them there, and they will be in a nice sunny spot. And I was able to get out of the garden enough carrots to preserve. We tried to do a lot of fresh eating from the garden this year, but with the carrots I was able to get enough to preserve some for the winter. And these final things are just something I picked out of the garden in the first week of October. And these tomatoes, peppers, onions, basil, and other spices from the garden, what I did was I oven roasted them, and then I blended them up in a blender and canned them like tomato sauce, which is a lot faster process than I usually do. And we don't mind the skins because once you put them through the blender, you hardly even notice them. So these are the last couple of squash to come out of the garden. The rest are small and they probably won't make it. So I will probably preserve these because then I don't have to worry about them getting lost in the cold room and being a year later and we're just eating them. So this year I am not planting a full garden, and I haven't had any success with that in the past, and this year I just don't have the bandwidth to do that. So yeah, I'm looking for another squash. There were 2 this size squash in this garden just like a week ago, and I don't see it, so something's gotten it. So this big one I see down the bottom, I didn't even notice that a week ago, so I'll be taking that out today, and you actually saw the picture of it up on the previous clips. So here's the rest of the garden. The Swiss chard needs to be cut again. That's probably the 3rd or 4th clipping we've gotten over that. I actually pulled out plants that the last time I harvested, and it still grew back. So yeah, there's some cabbages there. I doubt they're gonna make it. Those little pepper plants, they just starting to produce, and it's October, so yeah, they won't make it. There's some more tomatoes we could probably harvest off of here. There's some red ones that I'll probably bring in today. There's some more orange habaneros there that I can bring in. These cabbages have seen better days. They got ravished by the moths. And yeah, it was like overnight that happened. This was one of my main focus this year, amaranth. And I want to try and dry it out and grind it down to a flour and try to bake with it. So this box, this is baby wipes that it comes in. So I'm going to fill this up and let it dry out in the house. And hopefully I can get some flour out of this. And I have about 3 or 4 of those boxes already filled up, so that's good. Here are my strawberry plants. They'll overwinter, so that's good. Here is where I'm gonna actually put my garlic for next year. That's what I always do at this time of year. That's the only fall thing I plant. Here's some more tomatoes that came up voluntarily. I've gotta dry this leeks. That's one other thing I've got to do. Here's some more peppers. The peppers are supposed to be red and orange, but we pick them at green because if we let them go to that color, they seem to rot for us. So green peppers is better than no peppers. Some more tomatoes. This is where the big boys were planted. There's some other varieties in there that I didn't plant, but that's okay. Here's my elderberries. I got a little bit off of them this year. Here is my mint. And yeah, my cucumbers have been gone. So this is the amaranth that I got over those 2 plants, and it's been in the house drying for about 2 weeks now. Just about 2 weeks, because today is the 24th, so 12 days. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually spread them out, probably like a single layer on some newspaper. Let them completely dry, and then I'm going to try and grind up the seeds and try to make flour and try to bake with it. Usually I'll just dry them and then just sprinkle my seeds for next year, but I'll save some for that as well. But this year I want to try and make flour. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. Maybe like in January when I have time after the holidays are over. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos.